Are you looking to unlock the full potential of Docker on your Ubuntu 16.04 system? If so, you're in the right place. Today, we will explore how to run Docker with experimental features, including the handy image squashing function. I totally get it. Trying to optimize your Docker images can be a real challenge, especially when you're dealing with size constraints. You're not alone in this struggle. Many users face similar issues when trying to streamline their Docker workflows. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked, how can I run Docker with experimental features like image squashing on Ubuntu 16.04? If this sounds like you, stick around as we dive into the solution. So what exactly is image squashing? It's a feature that allows you to reduce the size of your Docker images by merging layers. This can be incredibly useful for saving space and improving performance. Let's break down how to enable this feature. And don't go anywhere. At the end of this video, I have a bonus tip that will help you manage your Docker images even more efficiently. To enable experimental features in Docker on Ubuntu 16.04, the user first needs to edit the Docker configuration file. This file is located at et/docker/daemon.json. Next, the user should add the experimental flag to the configuration file. They can do this by inserting the following JSON code. After updating the configuration, the user needs to restart the Docker service to apply the changes. This can be done with a simple command. Finally, the user can verify that experimental features are enabled by running a command in the terminal. This will show the current Docker info. Now, the user is ready to use experimental features like image squashing. They can do this by using the appropriate Docker build command. Fun fact, did you know that Docker was originally developed to help manage applications in a more efficient way? Now it's a staple in modern software development. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach to enable experimental features in Docker on Ubuntu 16.04 involves modifying two configuration files. First, for the Docker client, open the config file located at .dockerconfig.json in your home directory. Add experimental enabled at the top level. Next, for the Docker engine, edit the daemon file located at .dockerdaemon.json and set experimental to true. After making these changes, restart Docker and verify the installation by checking the Docker version. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. An alternative approach to enable experimental features in Docker on Ubuntu 16.04 involves modifying the Docker service configuration. First, use the sed command to update the exec start line in the Docker service file to include the experimental flag. Then, reload the systemd manager configuration and restart the Docker service. Let's move forward and look at another answer. An alternative approach to running Docker with experimental features on Ubuntu 16.04 involves using the systemctl command. First, you need to edit the appropriate configuration files. The user suggests setting a variable called enabled to true or false, which will automatically enable or disable experimental features. To apply the changes, you can use a command that updates the Docker configuration files. This command modifies the config.json and daemon.json files to reflect the experimental setting. After making these changes, you can confirm the output to check if experimental features are enabled. Finally, to restart the Docker engine on macOS, simply run the command to kill the Docker process and reopen the application. This ensures that the changes take effect. Here's that bonus tip I promised. Regularly check for Docker updates to ensure you have the latest features and security improvements. This will keep your Docker environment running smoothly. And there you have it. You can now run Docker with experimental features on your Ubuntu 16.04 system. Remember, keeping your Docker environment updated is key to maximizing its potential. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.